All right, welcome back, everyone, to Chat UFC for UFC Baku in Azerbaijan. Very good card here, guys. Very underrated card. It's a fight night, but it could stack up to some of the pay-per-views we've seen recently. And let's dive right into this. Okay, so as you know, last week we had a pretty good week. We switched things up a little bit. I have a different system. I didn't throw away the old system entirely. I just had to make upgrades. And I'll give you an example of where I probably would have pulled the trigger in the past, and now where I'm being a little more cautious and waiting, especially on these underdogs. Big mistake I made before is there's a reason they're underdogs. The public's coming in with parlays, and I was betting all these early bird bets on these dogs, and I was just getting crushed on closing line values. So we're going to stop doing that. But we are going to focus on a little bit more on the parlay side of things with some favorites and some props. That's mainly where I'm going with things. Relying on dogs, yes, you're going to have times where you make 75 units in a quarter, but you're also going to have times where you lose 50 units in a quarter, and you can't seem to get out of the hole. So sometimes you got to play your premium hands too. You can't just play your drawing hands. And so we are going to focus on everything. We're going to become holistic, so to speak. And good start to it, 6.5 units last week. To be honest, though, a lot of that was lucky, not lucky, but Usman was our do or die last parlay. He loses, we get absolutely crushed. So he wins and we crushed. We got him at a very good line. And yeah, but this week it's going to be better. It's going to be even better than the last week, in my opinion, because we are blending things. And I think we're going to improve from here. I think we had a beginner's luck a little bit, crushing it with these. I still think they had value, but we were crushing with these underdogs. And then water found its level, returned to the mean, and so we had a tough second quarter. It's not over yet, but it was looking pretty bleak for a while. So we're going to dive right into these fights here, and we are going to find some value. So here we go. First fight of the night, as far as I can tell, Irina Alekseeva versus Claudia Sigula. What do I have to say about this? Absolutely nothing. Very close on the metrics. I would lean Claudia Sigula, the fight matrix here, but I haven't even run these other metrics. I'm starting to do this thing now, guys, where I take the average Glico or any of the other metrics, their average last 5 opponents, that average Glico. Because here's another thing that happens. Guy fights a bunch of cupcakes and then goes up, steps up in competition. How do we see that? How do we measure that? And we're going to actually get into that later on. There's a bet that I like so much. I'm giving it my lock of the year. I think it is as close to a lock as you can. With some unknowns, so I will say that on the other fighter, but very much known on our main guy here, and so we have a lot around him. But there you go. Shiuk Koi, liked him at a plus 140 against, what was that dude's name? Billy Goff. Not against Oban Elliott. However, at a minus or a plus 400, that line's looking good. That line's not going anywhere. He is about 200 points lower, though. So even though there's value, this is one of those where I'm going to hold off. Oban Elliott has looked really, really good, and I think he keeps climbing up the rankings. Shiuk Hoyin Koi looked solid, but solid I don't think is going to get it done here. If I had to place a bet, I would put it on Cole, but holding off for now. I ran these numbers on Hamdi and Usman. I actually know some people at the gym that I go to who know both of them. A lot of them like Hamdi. I like Hamdi because he's going to be in the Middle East, in Azerbaijan. Love saying that word. That country, great name, Azerbaijan. And Baku. Baku looks pretty cool too. A lot of ancient culture there, fantastic. But beside the point, Hamdi is from that area. He's been getting very generous split decisions. Usman, yeah, nothing impressive there. It's a stay off for me though, just not enough there. Hamdi has fought the higher competition. He's higher on his Glico, but not much there. This is not correct. Let's rerun this here. Right in the middle. There we go. Yeah, Hamdi at 60. No value. And then we get into the bets. Here we go. First one of the night, Melissa Mullins. Love this bet. You want to know why? You want to know why I love this bet? She's 100 points higher on her fight matrix blend. About the same competition level. These fighters are very similar. To the point where Melissa Mullins has already knocked out Daria. And so we gave her 9 percentage points just on that physicality, in my opinion, alone. The idea of getting knocked out, when you've been knocked out by someone, that's in the back of your mind. Very hard to win that second time. I'm giving it 67. Now the line's at minus 275, but this is one of those where We were very, very tight with our lines before. Oh, it always has to be the value here, there. But sometimes the metrics are wrong too. And in this case, give me the girl who knocked out the other girl. Give me that. In the first round, by the way. So, I don't know. Mullins looks like she's just getting better and better. Daria looks average. And I don't think we'll be in the UFC for that long. Give me Mullins here. And give me Mullins in these parlays. So, first parlay we have is Mullins and Jung Young Park at a plus 101. We put 2 units to win 2.03. And we jump down here to Jung Young Park. And same thing with him. So, let's dive into this. Ismail Nardiev. People love Nardiev, and he is from that area, and he's performed well. But who did he beat? He beat Bruno Silva by decision in his first UFC fight. And so 1685 on his Fight Matrix blend. Jung Young Park has fought the who's who. He's been in the UFC for a while. Started around this 1676. He's built up to above it. That's his last 5 average Glico. So he beats up on the people in the high 16, 1700 range. Well, we got 1685. I think it's lower level competition. Ismail has fought much lower level competition. Basically the same on the physical metrics, same height, same reach. A little bit of age, an age advantage maybe for Ismail. But all things considered, 67% chance for Jung Young Park. We're getting him at a minus 185. So I teamed him up with Melissa Mullins to get that plus 101. Then we have Mullins, Jung Young Park, and we have our next one, Curtis Blades, which we'll get into. This is a bet I put in. I put this in early, and the main reason I liked this bet is I think that Jung Young Park is a pretty big step up in competition here for Ismail. And so if Ismail has made that step up and is much better, I think it's probably a decision, like he beat Bruno Silva by decision. Jung Young Park, I think, would have finished a Bruno Silva type. But so if there's a step up, maybe he wins it by decision, or if there's a big step up, maybe Nardiev gets the knockout. But honestly, I think it's Jung Young Park will get the finish here. Could be a sub or a knockout. And so put a small play, one unit to win 1.4 on that one. Nothing too crazy, but we wanted something decent on that. We also have a parlay just with Jung Young Park and Curtis Blades right here, plus the Melissa Mullins, Jung Young Park, and Curtis Blades. And let's get down to Blades. Let's skip through all these because this is my absolute lock best play of the night. And I think we're getting a better line now. Will money come in on Rizvin? Maybe, which is kind of strange. Because he's fought in the Contender Series. He's, fought in other promotions. He's done okay. But let's take a look at some numbers here. So we got Rizvin is a 1695 on the Fight Matrix blend. That makes about sense. And then he's fought an average of 1459 on the Glico last 5 fights. Obviously, he's won all those. And Curtis Blades has also lost some of his fights. But who's he fighting? Tom Aspinall, Sergey Pavlovich. He's beating, high-level fighters as well, though. Jalton Almeida. I mean, he finishes Jalton Almeida. There is no way that Jalton Almeida and Rizvin Kuniev would be, even close to this. Almeida is going to be a big favorite. So I also give Blades about a 3 percentage points of upgrade on his projected probability based on his reach advantage, which is going to be 4 to 5 inches long. He always has that, but he's gonna have that advantage there. He's gonna have the wrestling advantage. Even though this guy's Dagestani, I just think that this is a massive step up, and there may be some other money coming in here. Decision would worry me because I know that the crowd's gonna be on Kuniev, so that's why I'm going heavy on this. I have 96% chance of Curtis Blades winning. Now that may be extreme. It's probably not 96, but it's probably pretty close. And so at a minus 285, steal of the century. And look at this. We can get Curtis Blades by KO, a plus 125. I got early under 2.5 rounds, minus 115. I put 2.3 units on the under and 2 units to win 2.5 on the KO prop. Plus I have him all tied up with my parlays with Jung Young Park. And so that one there is a 2 unit to win 2.11. And then we have the 3-leg parlay, which I think cashes at a plus 188. Melissa Mullins, Jung Young Park, and Curtis Blades. That's going to be where I put my my foot in the ground, 10 toes down, and make a stand on this card, because other than that, everything's up in the air, in my opinion. But let's run through some of these other ones, and I'll give you my leans. Okay, let's go leans here. Let's go up. Nothing here. Huge discrepancy between Tagir and Osmat, and the line's going up. I lean Tagir even at that line. Bogdangrad, Niamov. This one is getting out of hand. I will put a bet on Bogdangrad at a plus 225. Think we can get there. Money steaming in. It's not even at a 185 anymore. But this is just one where, yeah, the metrics say it's close. I'm going to run some more numbers on this. And I'll get back to you guys. Friday face-off will include any other bets that we have. But there you go. And then let's see, Nicholas Mota. Value, but staying away for now. But Mota is always a favorite killer. So again, give me a plus 400 there. Probably won't get it. Probably going to come down. Plus 350, probably pulling the trigger, but got to run our numbers on this one too. I ran the numbers on the ones I immediately jumped out. Curtis Blades. I want to get action in fast and hard so that we don't miss anything. This is one where normally I would just immediately just bet Tofik Musayev, but Orabe is a beast. Obviously, big differences on the metrics here. About the same level and strength of schedule. And so what that tells me with Orabe winning most of those fights, except for the last one, this should be about 50-50. If we can get a plus 180 on Tofik, I think we will. So we'll just wait, probably get a bet later. I like Bahamondes up to a minus 130, but I don't love him. Look at this difference in his last 5. Fiziev has fought the who's who. And so if this line gets out of control, it's not this anymore. But if I get a plus 175 on Fiziev, I might have to take that. I leaned Jamal Hill, lines coming down just based on Fight Matrix Blend. But let's take a look on the last 5 average, and then the physical metrics will run those numbers. Don't actually really have a one way or the other on this. I actually have a feeling Khalil wins, but I'm not going to touch it for now. So there you go, guys. Let's do our thing and run through our bets. Let's recap everything. All right. Let's recap. So our biggest bet of the night is Curtis Blades, Rizvan Kuniev under 2.5 rounds, minus 115, 2.3 to win 2 units. Melissa Mullen, Jung Young Park parlay, 2 units to win 2.03. Jung Young Park Curtis Blades parlay, 2 units to win 2.11. Curtis Blades by KO, TKO, or DQ, 2 units to win 2.5. Melissa Mullen, Jung Young Park Curtis Blades parlay, 1.33 to win 2.51. Jung Young Park, Ishmael Nardiev, under 2.5 rounds, a plus 140, 1 unit to win 1.4. And that's all we have. So really, we're centering this all around 3 fights for now. And that is Melissa Mullins, Jung Young Park, Curtis Blades. And if we cash all 3 of those, we will be sitting very nice. And if we include those unders too, we could get 12.54 units out of this. So that's what I think we're going to get, because I believe all 3 are going to win. Will we hit our props as well? I hope so, but I love the parlay. And I hope you guys love it too, because we are going to cash this week. And I am, without a question, going to see you at the window.